Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're breaking down the tokenomics paper for Alkecoin, the native token of the Alkebuleum network. Its whole design is built around this utility-first idea, which, you'll see, really sets it apart. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the basics. What even is Alkecoin? Then we'll look at how the supply is structured, check out the rules for its distribution, understand its monetary policy, and finally, we'll explore why this whole model is so important.
All right, first things first, we have to get really clear on what Alkecoin is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't. That distinction is literally the key to its entire economic design.
At its core, Alkecoin is the fuel that powers the Alkebuleum network. You know, just like gas in a car, it's what you need to make anything happen. Whether you're making a simple payment or running a complex smart contract on this Pan-African blockchain, you need Alkecoin to do it.
Now, this is where things get crystal clear. Holding Alkecoin gives you the right to use the network. You can pay for gas, you can access dApps, you can even tip to get your transaction through faster. But here's the kicker. It does not give you equity or ownership or any claim on profits. It's a tool, plain and simple, not a stock. So you can see these are the specific jobs Alkecoin is built to do. It covers everything from the little stuff, like everyday transaction fees, all the way up to huge functions, like funding new projects and keeping the entire network secure. Okay, let's move on and see how this utility-first idea really shapes the token's supply. The whole thing is organized around 3 core pillars, and they're all designed for long-term stability. So, the system starts with a fixed total supply of 1 billion Alkecoin. And that number wasn't just pulled out of a hat. It's meant to create a predictable economic foundation right from day one.
And that initial supply is split up very strategically. A big chunk, 45%, goes to the Foundation for Long-Term Stewardship. 30% goes to the Community DAO. That's a decentralized group where members get to vote on stuff. And the last 25% goes to the tech company to fund development. See how each branch has its own clear job?
Now here's a really important distinction. That 3-branch structure we just saw, that's mainly for governance and, just talking about things clearly. When you get down to the technical, on-chain level, the system actually uses 5 different buckets to manage the funds with more precision. This table lays it all out for us, showing exactly how those technical buckets roll up into the 3 main branches. So, for instance, the Community DAO slice is actually made up of funds for both sponsorships and general community use. It just goes to show the link between the high-level strategy and how it's actually implemented on the blockchain. Okay, so having 1 billion tokens is one thing, but the rules for how they're actually released, well, that's absolutely critical for making sure the network stays stable and doesn't just become a speculative playground.
Take the dev team's allocation, for example. It's on a really strict 4-year schedule. There's a 1-year cliff, which means nobody gets anything for the first year. After that, the tokens unlock gradually over the next 3 years. This makes sure the team is in it for the long haul.
Then you've got the foundation, holding the biggest piece of the pie. It's designed to be a long-term guardian, operating on a roughly 10-year plan. It funds things like public goods and research, and it has to publish transparency reports to stay accountable. Think of it as the ecosystem safety net.
And the Community DAO? This is where power goes directly to the users. It's not just some pot of money, it's a real governance body. Anyone can propose an idea, the community votes, and if it passes, it gets funded. This is what grassroots growth looks like in action.
So with all these rules in place for how tokens get out, how does the network manage the money supply overall? Well, the name of the game is stability, and predictability, not crazy inflation.
In fact, the system is designed for extremely low inflation. New tokens are created at a rate of just over 0.06% per year. I mean, that is a tiny, tiny predictable increase.
But that little bit of issuance has a very important job. It's just enough to keep the validators, the folks who secure the network, paid for their work over the long run. It keeps the lights on without watering down the value of everyone else's tokens.
And this is where things get really cool. This is paired with a powerful fee-burning mechanism. So every transaction has a base fee that gets burned. Poof, gone from the supply forever. The optional tip is what actually goes to the validator as a direct payment.
This creates a pretty amazing dynamic. The more people use the network, the more fees get burned. If activity gets high enough, the number of tokens being burned can actually be more than the new tokens being created. The total supply could actually start to shrink.
Okay, so let's pull all these pieces together. We've talked supply, governance, distribution, and monetary policy. What's the big picture? What does all this actually add up to?
Well, every single thing we've talked about points back to that core philosophy. This is a utility-driven network built to last. I mean, think about it. There is no public token sale for speculation. The governance rules are super clear. The supply is predictable, and the fee model literally rewards real network usage.
And this final quote just hammers the point home. It's a clear statement that separates using the network from owning the companies that built it. It legally and functionally defines Alkecoin as a utility token first, last, and always.
And that kind of leaves us with one big question. By choosing long-term stability and real utility over short-term hype, this model presents a pretty compelling vision for the future. You have to wonder, is this the new blueprint for how you build a sustainable, community-driven network?